if there is no, oh, okay, thank you, Guillaume. I was asking to start the recording. Okay, can you see my screen? Okay. So I can see that between the participants we have Team Orange, Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, Ericsson, I don't know, also Luis, welcome. So I think that we have the quorum if any decision is needed during this TSC. Then I think between the other participants we have Canonical, Red Hat, and please help me for the other.
Equinix.
Equinix, thanks.
Six Win also. Hi, Carlo. Hi, everyone.
Hi. Okay. So I remind you that we are following the LF Europe policies, and you can find here the link with the policies. The next TSC will be in 2 weeks on the 9th of October. And I would start with the general news. And as I said before, we have quite a full agenda, and I hope we will manage to cover all the topics. We will start in the general news with some feedback from the Sylva mini summit during last week. Unfortunately, I didn't participate, so I would leave to someone else to give the feedback.
Yeah, I've prepared several photos to share what has been done. So you've got on the GitLab in the communication, and you've got the link. Also, you'll have the links in the minutes. You'll have the presentation of the different presentation and deep dive. So just to mention that we were during the Open Source Summit, around 1,000 participants, and we have many speakers from the community, from the Sylva community, including also Arpitya Shipura, who participated to present how Sylva is integrated within the Linux Foundation scope. We had also the participant of Juan Carlos Garcia, who was initially one of the key pillars to launch the project at the beginning. Also the participation of one of the proposals with Sylvain Desbureaux on the NIC2X zone. Thank you, Naomi, for the link on the different presentation. We were glad also to have Wamin, who made a long travel to be with us. And we have also participation during the LF Europe Member Summit, where we presented an update on the project status, and we had a good dinner with some folks around there. Is there any question? No?
Hello.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Guillaume.
So I understood that sessions have not been recorded. We can only access the presentation.
That's correct. We unfortunately did not record the sessions.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Guillaume. Then on the general news, we have three specific focus, all three very interesting, and I would propose to have these topics at the end, just after the update from the working groups. We will have one focus on GitOps workloads lifecycle management, another from GitOps GUI from Orange, and the RFE proposal by Canonical. So we will try to keep time for these three presentations at the end of the updates. From the board, we don't have many things to share. There is an ongoing discussion on the 2025 priorities that will be shared later as a proposal to the TSC. And then I would leave the floor, if you don't have any question on the general news, I would leave the floor to Mathieu for working group 1.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so things are moving on, especially for our next target of having Sylva v1.2 release by the beginning of November. Well, what we've done so far is including the cert manager component into the Sylva stack so that it can be used in workload cluster. A good news also is about CI pipelines that are becoming greener and greener. As a reminder, we are testing a lot of course, the stack itself, but in addition to that, we are also testing rolling upgrades from one Sylva version to the other on different environments, and can be challenging. So we move forward, and it's becoming more and more successful. So we keep working on that because it's a key success for us to be able to show that the cluster API way to manage cluster is ready for production. Other topics that we recently merged is the Kepler work done along with between Orange team and Telecom Italia team. The work is done and the documentation is under review, so it will be ready to use for Sylva v1.2. We keep working on adopting Kubernetes 1.29. It's in good shape, so no blocker for having it in v1.2 too. The DHCP last feature is ready. We can deploy, especially bare metal workload cluster without having to rely on any DHCP infrastructure. The only missing part in Sylva is the documentation of this feature. We keep working on that in order to have everything ready for Sylva v1.2. We've been exploring the immutable OSs with SlimMicro 5.5. It has been successful. We've been able to deploy a cluster based on SlimMicro 5.5. Anyway, we still have work to do to say that it's let's say a Sylva cluster, especially on the hardening part of it. But we decided to move this work to the new release of SlimMicro. I'm talking about OpenSUSE Leap Micro. Sorry, my mistake here. We'd like to be able to adopt OpenSUSE Leap Micro 6.0 in Sylva, and so the work will be done for addressing every part of what we expect for considering using this kind of immutable OS as a Sylva cluster with the focus on OpenSUSE Leap Micro 6.0. So I think we will have also a demo by the end of this release concerning the GitOps workflows, a demo based on the new APIs that we are introducing, along with the corresponding Kubernetes operators, so that we will be able to deploy a workload cluster with the GitOps way. And just to let you know that we keep discussing and working with Red Hat in order to explore what it would mean to deploy an OKD Red Hat cluster, especially a workload cluster. So discussions are ongoing. Any question? I was having some sharing topics, but so just to let everybody know that we've been having some discussion with Canonical. We will get back to that at the end of this meeting, as you said, Carol.
Mm-hmm.
We had some also presentation and technical deep dive into the Kunai project that we will discuss also at the end of the meeting. And we also had some discussions with people who are working on the life cycle of the workloads, the CNF. But again, it's a topic that we will cover at the end of the meeting. I'll add that for the end of the meeting then.
Okay, thanks, Mathieu. There's a question from Book.
Yes, thanks. I wanted to ask Mathieu, what is the status of the operator development? I see it's not on the immediate next points, but just out of interest, because we are doing quite some work on the operator. Is it currently actively worked on, or
yes, definitely.
you can share a bit of that?
Yes, definitely. We do have a specific internal working group for focusing on this workload cluster operator. It comes along with other operators, but that are behind the scene. And as I said, our target is to have some kind of tech preview of it with Sylva v1.2, with some demo that relies on top of those operators to engage discussions on the future of it. And of course, there is a nice area for collaboration with especially you at TT, where you are very interested in that topic, as far as I understood.
Yeah, I would. We discussed in one of the exchanges that it would be a good to at least that DT, because we are at some point mature, or not mature, but we went further in comparing to what we had a few months ago. It would be good to have a sharing session to provide transparency, what's on the radar, and then try to find the synergy point, because I'm looking actively for the hook points where we can come closer together. One is the networking, the operator could be another one. So to have a good perspective to converge in a near future.
Sure.
So,
and it's the good timing, because this those operators are under definition for the time being, not heavily used, not used in production. So it's good timing for us to collect any feedback and to align the two, the two projects if it makes sense.
Would it be appropriate then to nominate this topic for working group 1? And then bring some of the DT people to really make a walkthrough, or have a dedicated meeting on that?
I think we can make it during the work group 1 meeting. I don't have any topic at the agenda for next meeting, so we can put it at the agenda next Tuesday or the week after.
The one after. Okay.
And let's
Then I'll
discuss
take
that
it.
later.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you.
Also in team, we are working on this kind of operators, and we are definitely interested in discussing with you these topics. And in the Work Group 1 meeting, I think it would be appropriate.
Okay. Let's try to put that at the agenda for the next meeting if everybody is available then.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I've started to share the roadmap. It was the next topic because I think it was linked to the question of VOOC.
Yes, thanks.
I make explicitly this topic in the roadmap. It was a hidden topic, so as it's an important one, I propose to add it, Matthew, if you are okay.
Sure.
In the exploration, okay.
Sure. Something I did not mention is work we are doing on HBR, host-based routing, along with DT, to explore how we can use it in the context of Sylva. So we are doing POCs at Orange to better understand the technical proposition.
Okay. Can we just give also, we already shared the content of v1.2, so we propose to share an update version of the roadmap mainly for the next release, for the January one. Perhaps you can give the words, Matthew. And
sure. Yeah. So we will definitely keep working on the GitOps workflow. We'd like to consider it ready for production with this January version. Of course, it will depend on the way, on the discussion we may have. It's important for us to converge to something that is useful for everyone. Of course, one other topic for this release is the support of Kubernetes 1.30. We will continue working with Red Hat on the integration of OKD cluster. So concerning nested cluster, we didn't have time to continue the exploration work on that topic. Anyway, it's something that is very interesting, that is requested by a lot of stakeholders. So as soon as we have time, bandwidth, we'll start exploring that feature. I think at Telecom Italia, you are also interested in it.
Yes.
Yep. So the NIF tooling zone design and the life cycle of the CNF on top of Sylva. Hopefully, we will be able to converge to at least a design proposal to have something more integrated into the Sylva stack. Let's see how it goes. Concerning immutable OSCs, as I said, we will keep exploring that topic by playing with libmicro 6.0. Not sure it will be mature enough for getting merged into Sylva. Anyway, we will keep working on that for sure. And it will also maybe trigger discussions with Canonical, with Red Hat, based on what they are providing in terms of OSs. Another topic is the RAN use cases that comes with requirements for real-time OS, for PTP protocols. and offloading. So it's a topic we keep in the roadmap because we always think that we keep thinking that the RAN use case is one of the main use case for Sylva. And concerning security, we have ongoing work concerning the improvements on the firewalling part of Sylva, on how to secure the supply chain of every Sylva component also. And we have a topic for moving from Vault to OpenBAO. Of course, it depends how OpenBAO is moving forward. And one last topic that we are going to start working on is how to backup and restore clusters, especially the management cluster. We'd like to provide a first technical proposal for doing so before for this January release. Because again, this is something that is very important for going to production. And on the GPU integration, this is interesting, of course. We do have some requests for that. We'll try to start exploring that topic before this release. We'll see if we have time. Of course, if any other company is interested in that topic, please help us exploring that topic.
Okay, so Carlo, we wanted to share an update of this roadmap following the first content of this January release. So I think we need a decision from the members. And feedback and question and answer.
Is there any comment to the feature proposed or any objection in updating the roadmap in this way? From my point of view, I think the proposal is okay. I think maybe the January release is quite challenging. There are a lot of things. So I'm not sure that we will manage to have all these things, but we can try.
Yeah, of course, our roadmap are always challenging. Anyway, we do have some features that we can consider as blocker features, such as the support of newer Kubernetes releases. We've been working on the GitOps for a long time now. I'd like to make it real in Sylva for January. Then for other component, yeah, we will do our best, but we know we have to work on that on those topics.
And I agree that the roadmap is changing. So I agree with all these features, and maybe we can add some other features. For instance, considering that we can deploy Sylva on bare metal and on virtual machines, we should allow more virtual infrastructure management than OpenStack. So maybe we need to support the CAP integrator for others. But as Matthew said, the roadmap changes. But this is a basic, a very good set of features, I think.
I'm just wondering if we could have also on the exploring sections also the exploration of the possibility of deploying Sylva clusters on public clouds. That I think it could be an interesting topic, and at least from team point of view, we are working also on this.
So this is why I say we should support the capability to deploy in other environments.
Carlo, we did not mention this as an exploration topic because we have already managed it as an exploration topic before. So we plan to integrate this in our next release, but in production grade part. We have made several integration on Google, AWS. We had a public demonstration on AWS. So. But we can continue if you think it's an important topic.
Okay. No, I didn't see it. Sorry.
No.
So can we proceed with the vote with the voting member? Can you maybe write on the chat if you agree to validate this roadmap?
I'd like to add as exploration, as I said, also the other infrastructure management apart from OpenStack in the virtual machines deployment of Sylva.
Can you propose?
Yeah, I propose.
Yeah, I will copy
I propose.
So you want to contribute on this part, I think.
Yes, we will work on something else.
I will use this voting time to tell you that we have consumed all our credit at Equinix, and Equinix agreed to add more credits to Sylva, but we will have to speak with Equinix what is a good amount that we need.
Now that one we can we can take it with Mathieu and you, Guillaume, and so ready to engage the team. Edward on our side to expand that. Just need to know what are the what is required as the resources and the timeline, and then we can proceed with the validation internally.
Yeah, François speaking. If I may, in this roadmap, there is several topics where Canonical can help. Obviously, first step will be to get our RFE accepted, but in terms of RAN, real-time kernel, keys, LTS, I think we have something to say, and we will be able to add some value. Just to mention that.
Thank you.
Okay, Vuk or Norbert. Is the roadmap okay for you?
For DP, okay, I already wrote. I don't know if this
sorry.
is visible.
Sorry, I missed it. Okay, so I think we reach the majority, and we can update the roadmap in this way. And there was a question from Naomi about where is placed the roadmap, and I think the place the link you send is the right one that will be updated with this new version.
Okay. I don't want to derail the agenda because I know we still have a lot, but one thing that I want us to think about is putting this maybe in a GitLab project board, or I can put it on the website, because I think it's going to be very cumbersome for you all to consistently keep updating a presentation. So I'm happy to look into an option for that if you all let me know your preference.
Okay. Ran, you have a question?
Yes, please. If you are discussing about January for version 1.3, when will be the code freeze, or the time that we will need to be ready with the code? That's my ask in general.
Yeah. What we observed so far is that we needed some at least 2 weeks of code freeze to stabilize the CI, to ensure everything is ready. But yeah, we can discuss that. It depends feature by feature. We don't have strong policies about that, and we do have to improve about our policy. But yeah, this is what we observed so far.
Oh, okay, thank you, Matthew. This is enough, exactly what I wanted. Thank you for that. We can take it in additional.
Okay. Any further question on the roadmap? If not, I will move to the next work group. I'm afraid that we are running out of time. I would ask to have a quick update, if possible.
Okay, can you refresh, because I think I updated this.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So very quick then. Things that we have done since the last meeting 2 weeks ago. The backlog is increasing. Finally, we have one new workload to be already added, the Fortinet firewall. We are testing this in Telefonica, and there's another one has been requested and will be added in the next meeting. That will be next week, but it's proposed to be tested in Orange, because apparently indicate that is with bare metal. If it can be done without bare metal, so in IaaS, we will be able to do it also in Telefonica. Second thing that we have done in the last weeks is that the cloud cell feature was added to the validation management platform. As you know, when we validate, we actually run it from a management portal. We are going to start using this feature in the next validations that we do, so that we use the cloud set directly instead of having to open different windows to confirm deployment of the applications. And third part is that we will keep deploying the SRIOV in the Sylva over virtual machines, over OpenStack, that we are doing in Telefonica. We keep working on that. Every day we are closer, but it's still not 100%, but very close. Things that we are going to do in the next weeks ahead: complete the validation for the 2 new added in the backlog. We are going to also do something new, that is, after the very interesting session in Vienna, one of the presentations was about the intent base and GitOps for the application, and it was demonstrated for the infrastructure, and it was demonstrated how to upgrade the Kubernetes version on the fly. So with everything running. So this is one of the elements that we wanted to add in the validation, just to confirm that the workloads don't limit that, and can the infrastructure upgrade, so changing the Kubernetes version, can be done with some network functions running on top, so with no service impact. So we want to incorporate this in the validation cycle. So we are going to try to reproduce that procedure every time we validate a network function. And The third thing is that we will complete the deployment of our new validation platform to start testing SRIOB as well here. Okay, nothing relevant and nothing decided right now. Any question?
Okay, thanks. Luis, any question for Luis and work group 2?
Just Luis, I mentioned a comment in the chat. There's two workload proposed. Additional workloads. There's the Unisys voicemail on top of obvious 5G. Yeah.
Okay, good then.
Thanks, Samuel. Okay, so we can move to work group 3. Mihai?
Yes, I'll be very fast. Okay, so since the last TSC, we have continued to do the analysis of the UCS schema. Good news is that we are close to the end. We only have 55 more requirements out of 600 plus to be reviewed. So we are close to finishing this. Thanks to Nicola and to the adoption working group, we have been in contact with two potential partners which could contribute to the security working group, the FBK Center and the cybersecurity cluster representing of the IPCI. We will have a meeting with them in the following days to exchange. And we also received some feedback on the CNF guidelines, working closely with Luis and with Working Group 2 to make them the guidelines, first of all, testable and to be able to have something practical in the validation center. And we got some feedback from Huawei. So thanks a lot for this. So yeah, apart from the next steps, apart from continuing the analysis and setting up the meetings, we're currently working on also on a Sylva security presentation, something more in depth related to security, because we see there's a lot of traction and we have a lot of opportunities which are coming, and we would like to have a generic template for security for our partners to present to them. And also we need to follow up with the Emerald project, the one which is working on automating the UCS, and with the CNF vendors for the feedback on the guidelines. So if there are any vendors on the call, please look into the email sent by Guillaume. I will also make a follow-up, and I plan to organize a dedicated meeting where we address the concerns and the feedbacks from the vendors and operators on these requirements. That's all.
Thank you, Mihai. Any question for work group 3?
Additional comment, I think we have also received the feedback from ZTE on the CNF guidelines.
Okay. I'll check. Thanks, Guillaume.
Okay, we can move to work group 4 on sustainability. Huamin.
Thank you. So we had a number of items left from the last meetings, mostly regarding how the Kepler is being used and how the carbon dashboards can access the data. So regarding to the first one, the Kepler access to the Redfish APIs. So there was a security concerns of exposing Redfish directly to the hosts and also exposing the credentials. So there's a number of proposals. One is to use the read-only Redfish API credential. That's where we reduce the access privilege to the critical management path. So that has to be synced up with the work group 1, how to provision this API access. The second proposal was to use in the ACPI, which is from hardware. So hardware vendors, like we are using on the Equinix servers, have the ACPI exposed, so we can use the ACPI from the Kepler without have to rely on the redfish access, which is more convenient and reliable than the redfish path. So both are being discussed. The second items on the carbon dashboard is that when we build the carbon dashboards, we want to access all the information in the cluster, software and hardware. The software consists of a control plane and a management plane, while the hardware consists of different servers and networking devices. So getting the access to the control plane and data plane to access all the data sources requires certain configurations to allow Kepler to run it on the control plane as well as the data plane. So that has to be synced up with the workgroup 1 to see how that will be made possible. So we know on the data plane, we can always deploy Kepler. If the question is, do you want to access the control plane as well? If we access the control plane, what could be the models? That's the ratio the energy consumption on different CNFs, because control plane is actually the shared resource. All the CNFs that are using control plane should get a fair share of the resources from there. So this is the data model we need to build up. And the second one is the networking device that's not tracked by Kepler. What are the sources of information we should get? Sorry for the background noise. So this is still being analyzed. So at the moment, the data model will also consist of the scope 2 emission, which is the embedded carbon footprints from the manufacturing processes. We have to find different sources to identify how the equipments are being manufactured and where can we track down the scope 3 data. I think that is going to be a huge undertaking because of GHG protocol, greenhouse gas protocol has a specific specifications for this emission definition. So that is will be a lot of compliance-based evaluation going to that direction. So very lastly, we have a team proposed a green scheduler a few meetings ago. They are validating the results since then. So based on the very preliminary results, they see mixed improvements for certain configurations. They see benefits in energy reduction, but for certain other configurations, they don't find any improvement. We are going to review these results once they come in and see what's going to be the next step moving forward. So that's all from us. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Wamin. Any question for workgroup 4? If not, we can briefly move to workgroup 5. In the meantime, I think we have to think about which of the 3 proposed presentation we can keep for today. I'm afraid that we don't have time for all 3. So while discussing workgroup 5, I think we should try to select one of them and postpone the others to the next TSC. Workgroup 5, so Nicolas or
Yeah, I will be presenting today. Hello guys, I will be quick and fast. So first of all, the Open Source Summit was a success. Thanks to you guys, you can find everything about the slides, what was shared, the topics on the website, but is indicated on our numerous LinkedIn posts. So please check out the posts, the LinkedIn posts, like them, share them. It's a good way to give us publicity. And thanks again, Naomi, for your work and everyone really from the workgroup communication. We also have the great news to share with you that we share a communication use case, which is Sylva in Orange Telco Cloud. You can find this use case again on LinkedIn, on the Linux Foundation page, everywhere. Please share the publication and like it. Give it all your strength, please, because it really helps us. A few words maybe. Yes, thank you, Naomi. Naomi is right now sharing the link to the publication. If you want to just take a look at it, it's really interesting and it's good reading. So really quickly about Sylva within the cloud, IPCEI. So Nicolas, maybe you can share a few words about that.
Yeah, just 2 words. Last week in Brussels, there was an event related to the IPCEI, so the European funding mechanism. There is officially a Sylva cluster, so it's called Telco and Edge Cloud within the IPCEI. So we are present, and together with Roberto Procopio from team, we presented the Sylva project and also the Edge Federation. So it's good visibility for the project at European level. And I met a lot of companies which were interested in the project. So we should have probably newcomers or new companies asking questions. And I made the link with the work group, our security work group, since there may be some reuse and mutualization to be done between the IPCEI projects and Sylva. That's it for my short debrief.
Okay, and of course we have the Sylva newsletter of September coming. So we listed some subjects. Of course, the subject of Nicolas will be mentioned. Open Source Summit will be also a part of the newsletter. We wanted to mention the upcoming event NetworkX, which will be huge for Sylva too. And of course, give a big shout out to our use case communication. Please check out our newsletter, which will be coming in a few weeks. That's all for our work group communication. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. May I just ask you to update the page on Git so we can report some information for the minutes?
Okay, no worries. Yeah.
Thank you. Any question for Work Group 5? If not, then I think that we have unfortunately to select one, I think, of the three, because we have less than 10 minutes left. Any suggestion, any proposal?
If I may, Carlo, I'm sorry, probably this sounds a bit impolite, but we already tried to present in the previous TSC for Canonical for the RFE. We have enough people, we have a quorum from Canonical, so if it will be interesting for the TSC, we would like to promote the RFE from Canonical. I think it's important because it's actually thinking about having an additional validation lab. So,
any objection in using this space with Canonical?
No, yes.
Okay, so I think we can proceed in this way, and we will reserve space in the next TSC for the other topics. We will be more careful in planning the timing. So
thank you very much, Carlo, for appreciate, and thanks for the TSC members. So you mind showing your screen?
Yes, sure. If you could make me presenter, please. Yeah, I don't think I have the rights to share my screen. If anybody could possibly. Okay, thank you.
You okay now?
Yes, yes. All right. I mean, I presented this deck. I don't know if you can see my screen, but
yeah, we can see it.
Yes.
Can see it.
Yeah, I presented this deck before a couple of weeks ago. At the time, we didn't have quorum during the TSC meeting. This is basically our proposal to introduce a new open source upstream Kubernetes distribution to Sylva. from Canonical. It's Canonical Kubernetes. I think we believe also that this will further strengthen Sylva in the telecommunications domain with adoption of newer distributions for Canonical. So basically, Canonical Kubernetes in Sylva we have public and open source cluster API providers for Canonical Kubernetes, and these are used for provisioning a Canonical Kubernetes cluster with cluster API. There are public repositories available already, and the team is actively supporting them. These are production grade, and they're also deployed in customer sites.
Canonical Kubernetes, c'est pas OpenShift, ça?
Yeah, it's not OpenShift, no.
Ah oui, c'est vrai.
Omar, not on mute. Yes.
So basically, this is in conjunction, obviously, with the Sylva toolchain, which allows for a CI/CD pipeline for deployment and management of a Kubernetes cluster. So our proposal work is essential to enable that with the upstream code base in Sylva to make sure that the upstream code base and scripts recognize the copy provider for Canonical Kubernetes and is able to deploy on bare metal and OpenStack virtual machine environments. So as a quick overview of Canonical Kubernetes, I'm aware of the remaining time, so I will be very quick on this. Canonical Kubernetes is a cloud-native computing foundation certified distribution. It's fully open source, and it's built with upstream Kubernetes components with essential Kate services already as built-ins. It can be deployed on a single node or multi-node environment, and it's also secured by default. It runs in a string-confined environment, which allows for other applications running on the operating system to not tamper with the Kubernetes environment. And this is important for, of course, security. So the work to be done in a nutshell at a high level is essentially to deploy and test first the Sylva toolchain open source components on Canonical Kates running on Ubuntu, so that we make sure that we validate that a management cluster with Canonical Kubernetes can actually run the toolchain elements. And then we also would like to make sure that the workload cluster can be spun up. And for that, we need to add support in the upstream repositories, mainly Sylva core and Sylva elements. There might be other repos as well. All our upstream contributions will be submitted as a PR as per the project guidelines. And as a list of feature support, here's an overall list of what Canonical Kubernetes can bring to Sylva. These are also commonly requested features that cloud-native functions from telco vendors, CNF vendors require. So when we come to the point we can validate the CNF on the platforms, these will be available with Canonical Kubernetes as well. Similar to the other distributions already integrated with the Sylva. And basically, we would like to enable provisioning of bare metal with open source tools and enable Canonical Kubernetes for Sylva. This is generally our proposal as RFE. If you have any further questions, I think it's a really good time to discuss them as well.
Yeah, we had a presentation from Canonical yesterday during the Workgroup 1 meeting. We really appreciate the flexibility of what Canonical is proposing, with an overlap of what we are already supporting in Sylva today in terms of technical components, and the fact that Canonical product and Canonical teams seems already familiar with the cluster API way to manage the cluster lifecycle, make me thinking that the work for introducing Canonical propositions shouldn't be really hard. We'll see, but we can expect that not to be hard.
Yeah, Mathieu, maybe to add as well, the real time is also supported, right? And the optimization on RAN components are already supported. But it's two items which are in Sylva roadmap, right? So that's why Serdar didn't mention them yet, but they're already supported by
canonical Kubernetes real time and the DU optimization part that is mentioned.
One thing though, this in effect becomes another flavor of Sylva or canonical Kubernetes. This proposal should come with a proposal to have a validation platform as well, so that you onboard network functions in your flavor and demonstrate those that are validated in other flavors are validated in this one as well. So does it include a validation platform as well?
So this is actually something that we would like to work with the Sylva consortium. Essentially, basically, we are looking for a validation platform within the project where we can work on and deploy our distribution, and we are obviously open to discussions and any collaboration in that space. Our contribution is about the development of the necessary upstream code base and any integrations that's needed for canonical Kubernetes itself. But obviously, we need to work with the Sylva existing Sylva community to find the most suitable location.
To make it shorter, Luis, yes, the answer is yes. Is to have indeed this location.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other question, clarification for canonical? So the proposal, if I understood, is to open an RFE with the proposal of including canonical Kubernetes as another flavor of Sylva. Can we proceed with the vote in the chat? Okay, I see Team DT, Orange, Telefonica. Any objection? I don't know if you already inserted the RFE in the GitLab, because I think the procedure is that you propose the RFE, and then there is a discussion on it from the TSC. I think we have to have an agreement in having the proposal, and then and guaranteeing that you are providing the effort to do all what is needed to integrate your distribution in Sylva. Okay. This is this Guillaume.
I think we were quite on the same page, Carlo.
Mm-hmm. So the important thing is
go for the RFE, but we know that it's just the starting point.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
To integrate fully this distro within Sylva. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we started discussing that with Canonical yesterday, and so the RFE to me is a high-level description of what we intend to do. Then we will go in details by creating epics for going step by step, and what we can deliver based on the Canonical project.
Okay, any other comment from the other voting member, from Ericsson or Vodafone? Is it okay for you? Okay, I think that in any case we have a majority in between the participants in this TSC to agree on the preparation of the RFE and start this work for the integration.
Thank you very much to the team and all the TSC, and thank you, Carlo. And I think we need to capture actually indeed the request from Guillaume and others to be sure that we can follow them, right?
Okay.
As checkpoints for us.
Okay. So I'm very sorry for the presentation that we have to postpone. But we will have them in the next TSC that will be led by Guillaume in 2 weeks. And I think if there are no other comments, we can close this TSC with a short delay. So
Okay,
thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you guys. Bye.